Alright, so I want to say welcome back to another build. Well, continuation of a build. You guys might have noticed I started my hand tool bench way before we did the bookshelf build, before I started a whole condo project that kind of had me pull off of this for like a month. But during that condo project, I was able to pick up a new jointer. So with this jointer, I decided I have a little bit of time off, so I might as well get back to the hand tool bench. And I want to say I have successfully, as we built the base, got the jointer cleaned up. You know, I did those things kind of in between, but I now have a jointer that can square up boards. This is really exciting. Typically I have to use the planer sled, table saw, straight jigs and everything else, but I think I can actually joint boards up to maybe like 8 foot long on this jointer. The bed is about 45 inches. I think the rule of thumb is typically twice as long as your bed is, so probably about 90 inches, probably max out, but it's long enough to do doors and, you know, little short parts like these are all my legs. So now that I have them squared up, what I need to do, oh, I have one squared up, I'm gonna put an X on the sides that have not been jointed or planed, so then when I go through the planer, I can run the planer this side down, get this side flat or parallel to this, flip it over, get this side parallel, and then I can have a completely square blank. It's pretty exciting. It eliminates the planer sled on pretty much most of my builds, unless I'm doing something really large. The bench top is 12, maybe 13 inches wide. I can't quite remember. Yeah, the bench top is 11 and a half wide. So I might be able to planer sled the face and then come over here to the jointer and joint the edge. But I think I'm probably just going to do that on the table saw just because the sheer mass of the worktop. I mean the bench top, I don't think I want to try to do that all at once. But we're going to switch the camera up and then we're going to run through and joint all the legs and probably going to joint all the stretchers, get all those done. And then we're going to go over and set up the planer and then continue on with that process to get all these boards perfectly square and ready to continue on with the build. They managed to rest, which is actually pretty good after the glue up, you know, so if any cupping or bowing they're going to do, spend about a month. So I think after the glue ups, everything's pretty much acclimated to where it's going to be. We did take the time to use proper grain selection in all of our glue ups, so a lot of these boards are going to be pretty stable. But now we can go and make everything perfectly square before we go into the actual build of the workbench. So let's switch up the camera and keep this process rolling. Alright, so over here at the joiner, we're going to take the boards, and I think what I want to do is flatten or joint a face, and then I'll joint the edge. Adding the pencil mark so I can kind of see or kind of recognize when the jointers kind of hit everything. These should already be fairly flat, so I shouldn't need much. Right now I'm taking off the 16th. That's good. Air Pro. Alright, the permanent home for the jointer is actually going to be over here behind the camera or over here on this wall. I'm debating, depending on how I run my dust collection. But as you can see, it slides right out the way without any problems. And with just a little bit of effort, the planer slides around from the other side of the door just as easy. My one downfall right now is my limited amount of dust collection hose. Once my dust collector is actually mounted on the wall and I can actually set up several drops to all my tools, it'll be a little less moving than what it is right now. But if you guys have enjoyed, let me know down below. Leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.